Hello and welcome to the program. I am DEJI360. Nigeria's ruling All Progressives Congress, the APC, is currently battling a familiar problem: zoning of the leadership of the 10th National Assembly. It's a familiar problem because the party actually had a similar problem in 2015 when the party came to power for the first time. Now, back then, the party couldn't resolve the problem and it ended up having a leadership in the National Assembly it did not support. And the relationship between the executive and the National Assembly back then was badly affected for 4 years. So the party appears headed for the same crisis unless, of course, it's able to resolve the current zoning crisis as quickly as possible. Now, on Monday, April the 8th, the APC National Working Committee had in the zoning plans now endorsed Senator Godswill Akpabio from the South-South geopolitical zone as the president of the Senate. That's the incoming president of the Senate now, while Senator Barau Jibrin from the northwest of the country was picked as his deputy. Also in the House of Representatives, the party endorsed Tajuddin Abbas from the northwest as the speaker and Benjamin Kalu from the southeast as deputy speaker. However, some governors and various groups have vehemently rejected the zoning arrangement for the leadership positions of the 10th National Assembly announced by the All Progressives Congress. Now, many of them have said, look, the zoning arrangement is not in the best interest of the party because it's skewed. For instance, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State has described the zoning formula now as skewed and that it reinforces injustice and enhances inequity. In a statement he signed, the governor said the North Central and Northeast should also have been considered in the zoning arrangement. Meanwhile, other aspirants for the leadership positions, both in the Senate and House of Representatives, have continued to press ahead with their campaign, rejecting the zoning arrangement of their party. Well, let's discuss this issue further. I'm now being joined by a party man himself, a former member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Ayo Yalowo. He joins us from Abuja. Ayo, thank you very much for joining us on the program. It appears your party is dealing with what I have described as a familiar problem that, if it's not careful, could actually rock the boat for the incoming government.
DG, don't worry, we will handle it better this time around. I'm sure we have enough time on our hands to be able to have a dialogue between all the parties involved. Yes, I remember you mentioned the 2015 crisis, but you must remember by 2015 we had no experience in governance.
Yeah. It
was our first time forming the federal government of Nigeria. But you remember in 2019 we handled it better. I'm sure you will agree with me that we had a smoother transition in 2019. Yeah, what has happened now is everybody just trying to jostle for opportunities to be seen and to be heard, which is a normal thing in politics. So I believe the party will have more robust dialogue between all the aspirants, because whether you like it or not, we are all one big family. We are all members of the same party. We all fought for this election so that we can remain in power. We know our opponent want to do everything within their power to take it away from us, but we were able to surmount all the odds and we are back here. So I have a very good feeling that with Asiwaju as our leader and as the incoming president, he will be able to, he has a different style from President Muhammadu Buhari, who typically don't like to get involved in party affairs, even though that has its own shortcomings too. It also has its own merit. And then Asiwaju, on the other hand, is more of a party man who is more, not party man, I mean more of a political juggernaut. So I believe that after the swearing in, when the power is fully in his hands, I am sure there will be a better communication. And you can see so many of the warring factions, I don't want to use warring faction, but you understand what I mean, not in the sense of war. So many of them have gone to see the National Working Committee and they're having dialogue. Something tells me that we'll have a breakthrough very soon, and then we'll all begin to move in this direction, because we do not want anything that will derail this administration. we have been assured by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that his presidency will hit the ground running, using the old cliche. But like I said on one other program sometimes this week, that I believe that Asiwaju will surely, truly hit the ground running. So I'm sure that this issue will be resolved, and it will be done amicably, and we'll be able to move forward as a political party and as a government in waiting.
Okay, now one of the contentious issues is the fact that you look at the way the party has zoned the positions, especially the position of the Senate president, that of the deputy, the speaker, and the deputy as well. The contention is that nothing was reserved for the north central of the country, and you have 2 slots now going to the northwest. And of course, the governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, did allude to that in his statement. What's your own take on that? Do you think, you know, the zoning arrangement is fair to the north central? Why wouldn't the north central have a representation?
I actually think, in my own opinion, I think the north central deserve a little bit more. I know why people thought, oh, maybe not, because we have the chairman of the party coming from the North Central. But in the executive arm, I was actually thinking we will have a senator from the North Central as the deputy Senate president. I remember one of my elder brothers showed interest, and I'm sure his interest still subsists, to be the deputy Senate president. That is Senator Musa Mohammed from Niger State. I normally like to call him with his nickname, Senator 313. So I thought he would have made a better, or he will make a good deputy Senate president. However, like I said, I believe the party will find a way to resolve it, because if you look at it, the North Central gave us 11 senators, while the Northwest gave us 9 senators. The North Central also gave us 5 states. So they deserve a little bit more. So I think the only place I would look for a change is to make Senator Musa our candidate for deputy Senate president. Aside from that, I think every other thing looks okay for me. So that would be my own personal opinion. The Senate, the North Central has really done very well. I didn't even know we could win 5 states. We only lost 1 state in the North Central. That is a Plateau, I think. So I honestly think there should be some form of dialogue and robust discussion between all the gladiators, so that we can have maybe a rearrangement of that, so that the North Central can feel a part of the move, because they clearly contributed their part. They did the best they could to ensure that we not only win the presidential election, we also control a large chunk of the North Central in terms of having our governors there. I think the only state we don't have in the North Central today is Plateau State. So the North Central deserve all the support and all the accolades.
So the national, yes. So the national chairman has said the party. Of course, you must be aware that the other aspirants actually held a meeting with the national chairman, and the national chairman said the party would review the arrangement now.
Yeah,
do you think that review now would
be
along the line of what you've been speaking about?
Well, I wouldn't know where his mind will go, but it would be a good idea if after the review we reconsider giving the North Central the deputy Senate president, because like I said, Senator Musa, that I called his name now, did a lot for the party. I remember his personal contribution in terms of trying to, in fact, in terms of the presidential election. I remember his contribution. It's on record what he did to ensure that our presidential candidate, who is now the president in waiting, got the number of votes, the needed votes to win Niger State. And we won Niger State fair and square. So for that reason, I think North Central deserves the deputy Senate president position. And I will be rooting for him, because I personally know him. I have a good relationship with him. He has proven himself to be a very solid man. He has proven himself to be a man of conviction. So yes, aside that, I think the other positions are fair. I support Senator Akpabio to be the the Senate president because he did everything within his power to give us a state we have never won before. We have never won, we've never had 25% in Akwa Ibom, but he gave us that this time around. So I think he has won that accolade, that respect to be the Senate president. And then I think for the fact that he was the first to step down at the Eagle Square that day for Ashwaju to have an easy ride at the primaries, his position should be uncontestable. But for the Deputy Senate President, I think Senator Sani Musa will have been a good choice too. So I'm personally throwing my hat in the ring for him because he's a brother, he's a senior, he's someone I respect a lot, and he's someone I believe will bring a lot to the table. So I'm glad that our national chairman has admitted that they will have to do a review of that position. So if I am making the decision, this is what I will have been doing. But of course, I don't make the decision. I'm only giving my opinion as a member of the party. But I hope that the party does what is right because the North Central contributed enormously to our electoral victory and they deserve a right to have a place on the table like other parties.
Now, just before I let you go, one final question before I let you go. How important is it for your party to handle this, and resolve this issue now amicably? How important is it?
No, like I told you earlier on, we didn't have experience in 2015. It was our first time coming into government at the central level. I can assure you we have learned a lot, and I can tell you without equivocation that all this brouhaha will be resolved within the shortest possible time before we have the Senate election. I think that, the National Assembly election, I think that should be 6th or so of June. Yeah, 6th of June. So I am very, very comfortable and very confident that we will find a solution to this. And by the time we are going into that election, it will be all plain sailing. We will have been able to fix all the rough edges and ensure that as a party, we go in there so that we can dominate and we can be the party that called the shot in the National Assembly, both at the Senate and at the representative level,
all right.
Hopefully.
Ayo Yalo, thank you very much for your time and thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate your time too.
Thank you. All right, we'll take a short break now, but coming up, why do some residents of the Federal Capital Territory want a court to stop the swearing in of Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the 29th of May? Stay with us to find out. Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal. How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians have said in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.